On the NCAA Division II level, California University of Pennsylvania has become quarterback U over the past 7 years. The transformation began when Joe Ruggiero transferred to the program in the fall of 2004. Ruggiero's style was that of a gunslinger. Ruggiero's quick release and ability to make lightning decisions allowed the Cal U offense to strike from anywhere on the field.
The first thing that comes to mind with Joe is how accurate he was. I mean, a very polished passer. There was many practices where the ball would never hit the ground just because he put everything exactly where it would be. We would do spot drill before practice, and I would tell him that on the flat route to stick it in the guy's ear, and he would throw it in his ear every single time. The other thing that comes to mind in Joe is, Joe was your typical quarterback. He played shortstop in baseball, could shoot a basketball. If you played him in ping pong, he would win at that. He had great hand-eye coordination, very competitive, just a great quarterback.
Over his career, Ruggiero led the Vulcans to victories in football games that forever changed how Cal U football would be perceived. Like a gunslinger showing up to a duel at high noon, Ruggiero put down each of his well-known foes. Ruggiero breathed life into a Cal U football program that had laid dormant for years, and at the time was the all-time winningest quarterback in program history.
The thing with Joe is he had the guts of a burglar, but by the same token, he knew when it was important to be smart with the ball. If you look at Joe's interceptions, he did not throw a lot of interceptions, and it's because he trusted his reads, and he would throw the ball in there, and if there was a little bit of space, he trusted that he could get it in there. Now, he wouldn't force it. He tried to be, at times, sometimes even too careful with the ball, but he really trusted his arm and his accuracy. I don't think he had a lot of confidence trying to throw it over the top. I used to tell him all the time, well, you could get that thing out there, and he'd get, I can only throw it about 50, 55 yards, and I saw him throw it 65 yards a million times. So from that standpoint, he was different than the other quarterbacks because they thought they could throw it the length of the football field. Joe never thought of it like that. He thought he could see seams, and it made sense in his head, and he trusted it like no quarterback I've ever coached.
Upon Ruggiero's graduation from the program in 2007, Kevin McCabe transferred from the University of Virginia to take over the reins in 2008. McCabe's style found its roots in accuracy, utilizing wide receivers Marcel Pestano and A.J. Juice Jackson. McCabe picked apart defenses with the precision of a highly trained physician.
First time I saw Kevin drop back in spring football, it gave me goosebumps. His feet were that good. He was the typical NFL-looking quarterback. I mean, he was 6'2", 6'3". He had phenomenal feet. You could tell he'd been coached. The ball just exploded out of his hand. Accurate. All those things you could tell the first day. What I didn't know until you started coaching him in the games was how tough he was. We went from Joe, who was really a catch the ball, get the ball out of his hands quickly guy, to Kevin, who loved to take the deep drops and throw the in routes and the post and the comebacks. Well, those take more time to develop. You got to protect them a little bit longer. And he would hang in there to wait for the big play and then let it go with staring down the barrel of a gun and take the hit and make good throws and get back up. He was the most underrated quality Kevin had was how tough he was.
In the school's first PSAC championship game since 1984, McCabe threw for a school record 443 yards and 4 touchdowns on the way to a 47-36 victory. After the game, he was named the MVP. Kevin McCabe led the Vulcans into battle against Bloomsburg University in the 2008 NCAA Division II playoffs. McCabe threw 3 TDs, and Darren Burns provided the knockout punch on Bloomsburg's Dan Latour to send the Vulcans to back-to-back NCAA Division II semifinal appearances. Many thought that McCabe's graduation in 2008 signaled the end of Cal U's dominance at the quarterback position. Little did they know that a 4-star Division I quarterback from the University of Maryland had already contacted the Cal U coaching staff midway through the season. Originally recruited by Urban Meyer at the University of Florida, Josh Portis' athletic ability was off the charts. Portis' style could be summed up in 2 words: dual threat. Portis had the strongest arm of any quarterback ever to play at Cal U. He also had great wheels, could pull it down at any time, and rush for a score from anywhere on the field.
Josh was he had all the tangible skills, obviously. I mean, the size, the strength, the speed, probably the best arm I've ever seen. But he also had great intangibles, the big smile, the leadership. I think kids knew that no matter what the situation was, if Josh was in the huddle, we had a chance to be successful.
Portis had 3 receivers, A.J. Jackson, Ched Cherry, and Terrence Moore, whom he loved to torture defenses with. At the end of his career, Portis was a touchdown-throwing machine, throwing 69 touchdowns in just 2 years and broke McCabe's single-season passing record. Currently, he also holds the top 2 single-season touchdown marks with 36 in 2009 and 33 in 2010.
There's no doubt the one moment I remember is IUP, his senior year. I think we were down 15 and maybe 8 minutes to go in the game or something. It takes us right down the field, totally on his shoulders, throwing and running. We score, we make it an 8-point game, get the ball back. And I think we put together a pretty good drive with him again being the catalyst of it. And it ended with a touchdown pass and then a 2-point play in which he scrambled, extended the play, and made the 2-point throw to Ched Cherry. The thing I remember most about it was I just knew we were going to tie the game because we had Josh. And I think the kids believed it, and then ultimately we went on to win it in overtime.
As Cal U was on its way to its 3rd straight NCAA Division II semifinal appearance in 2009, Peter Lolich reached out to the Cal U coaching staff to see if there was an interest in making him the 4th quarterback in the lineage of great signal callers at Cal U. Lolich transferred from the University of Virginia and took the helm after Portis' graduation in 2009. Lolich's style finds its home in 2 distinct attributes: an unbelievable understanding of the game and an uncanny ability to hang in the pocket with defenders barreling down on him to deliver a strike. Lolich's cerebral approach to the game is unlike any other quarterback to play at Cal U. His understanding of defenses, coverages, and defensive concepts at this level makes Lolich special. In addition, Lolich plants his front foot in the ground with the resolve of a Clydesdale, delivering the ball in clutch situations under pressure every time.
Pete's the most different, entertaining, fun, quarterback I've ever been around. I never saw a guy. Anyone who saw the movie A Beautiful Mind, sometimes when I'll leave at night and I come back in the next morning, that's what my grease board looks like in my office. Pete will go in there and just draw up 60 plays, on the grease board, and a lot of them will be great ideas. If everyone could keep up with Pete, including myself, then it's hard to tell how many plays we could have had in a game plan. Extremely accurate, can make every throw. The thing about Pete that I noticed from the first day was he could throw the ball from different arm angles, over the top, half side arm. Guys could be in his face. Very much like Kevin, the fact that he was tough. Pete was so big at 6'4", 235 that he could just stand in there and sometimes when D linemen would get free hits on him, he knocked them down as much as they knocked him down because he was so big and a physical presence and just cerebral as can be. Made me a better football. They all made me a better football coach because of the way they played on the field. He made me a better football coach because of the way he made me look at things in the office.
I would have to say it's probably that same team that we play, IUP. Struggled a little bit to run the ball, got down, and Pete walks in the huddle and our kids knew. And I think we go with an 80-yard touchdown pass when we had to have the touchdown to tie the game. Some things happen where we end up with an onside kick down 1, about 40 seconds to go. And Pete takes us right down the field. He gets hit right in the mouth and drops the ball into Trey Johnson on a perfect throw to set up the winning field goal to win the game.
Now that Lolich has broken every single season passing record at Cal and finished his career 16-4 as the starter, one is left to ponder who the next big-time quarterback at Cal U will be. Impressive is the fact that Cal U quarterbacks are getting the opportunity to play in the NFL. At the end of their career, Kevin McCabe and Josh Portis had the opportunity to be in an NFL camp. Portis is currently on the Seattle Seahawks roster in 2012. And Peter Lolich is waiting for next year's NFL draft. When you consider that each of the past 3 Vulcan signal callers either found or find themselves poised to step onto the NFL stage, it's easy to anxiously anticipate who is coming next.
The next guy needs to be a competitive, tough, good athlete who's accurate with the football. He needs to be a cerebral kid who's an extension of the coaching staff on the football field. If he can do all that, then he's got a chance to be, to come here and win a national championship. That's always our goal at Cal. That's how we set the bar. When the team comes back, we always talk to them about conference championship, getting the playoffs, but the end goal is the national championship. We're going to give the next quarterback a vehicle to be great. We run an offense that's a no huddle. We give him a lot of leadway at the line of scrimmage. We allow him to make the play caller right. He's got to be a kid that can do all that. He's got to understand how to change protections. He's got to understand, how to change route combinations. He's got to understand when to get us into the right run. So he's got to be an extension of the coaching staff, but then he's got to physically be able to do it.